So thank you all for being here on Saturday morning. We're going to start with some brief introductions from the group, and then we are going to be discussing the Mark Juarez case, which you have read this morning. So I'll start with my introduction. My name is Susan Laux, and I teach entrepreneurship classes at Indiana University at the Kelley School of Business. I have a master's in business administration and have been teaching at Kelley full-time for 7 years. Pass it on to Mohammed.
Okay. Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Mohammed. I'm a PhD student at Texas Tech University. I'm originally from Egypt. I used to be an entrepreneur for like 7-8 years. I founded 2 companies in Egypt before I come here. Now I'm more focusing on entrepreneurship research, and I'm glad to be with you today.
Hi everybody, I'm Nicholas. I'm an assistant professor in informatics at Fort Hays State University in Kansas. And before joining Fort Hays, I was running my companies. I founded 5, I sold 2, and 3 of them are still active and doing business. And one of them is really related to what Mark Juarez did. So I'm really excited to learn about this case and to have feedback, because probably I can use it for my company too. Before we start, we were talking with Mike and with some of you about, why are we here? And why are you here? So we want to learn that story first, but first we want to share our story.
Other than the extra credit, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew from the other group, but basically we were selected to give you a lecture about, this case and some business. But why are you here? So, what do you want to get out of, our meeting and this 45 minutes that we'll be spending together?
It would also be helpful for us to know a little bit about you. So what level of schooling you're in and in your area of study. So raise your hand if you are undergraduate. Raise your hand if you're a graduate student. Okay. Raise your hand if you're business. Raise your hand if you're not business. What's your area of study?
Sport management.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, good. Mostly what?
Well, I'm Mar Bio, and I'm pausing to do business, and then going to plant pathology, so I have a weird.
Okay, excellent. Good. Well, it's good to have some diversity, and lets us know a little bit about you. Do you want to go ahead and go into, let's actually go ahead and start talking about the case, and would like to see if anyone wants to volunteer to sort of summarize some of the case for us. Get us all on the same page. What's happening with this Mark Juarez case? Who can tell? Yeah.
He had an idea for a product that people in his field found helpful, so he was interested in getting a patent for it so that he could, protect his rights as far as making that product.
Okay, so he had an idea for a product, wanted to look into patent for it. Who can tell us a little bit about Mark Juarez? What do we know about him?
So at first, where is this all happening and when? So it's Berlin, Germany, in which year? Yes, in the 90s. And who is Mark Juarez, and why did he get this incredible idea for this product?
He had recently become a licensed physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Massage therapist.
Massage therapist,
Yes.
sorry. This is the field that it's being more accepted in for his product.
Mm-hmm. So, and before doing that, he was working, he was doing several different things, and some of them he succeeded, then he took some time off, right? He was in Berlin because he took some time off after, some work that he did. He took an unexpected leave, and then he went to Berlin to develop this idea. Right, and what is the product about?
Saving massage therapists from carpal tunnel syndrome and other joint diseases.
Yeah, so it's this tiny little tool that massage therapists can use to improve the way they would work, but specifically to reduce some problems that they encounter, right? So what's a keyword in this product?
Solution.
It's a solution, right? For whom?
For
for massage therapists, right? So this is great. And how do we see this product? How do you, when you first read about the case, what do you thought about the product?
It reminds me of those things that you buy at Brookstone that you put on it and it starts to shake and vibrate.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are these things like?
What do you mean?
What's the process of buying these things, and how do you approach this product?
I mean, I don't really buy them because I mean, it doesn't really, I don't know, I need more like a deep tissue for it to work. But I mean, as a massage therapist, maybe way back then, I could see why you need it. Right?
So remember, this happened in the 90s,
Yeah, that's
okay?
what I'm saying. Way back
Okay.
when, I could see why
Yeah.
it worked. Because I mean, you can get deep into it, especially with the balls being circled. You can hit those pressure points. Because I know at least when I used to play sports, I used to use a lacrosse ball, like baseball balls, to
Okay.
get like my pressure points, so like the hip flexors. You know what I'm saying? Certain things in the back.
Great.
Yeah, and what else do we know about the product? So he developed the product and created a prototype. And then what happened? Yes.
He gave the product to his students, and they requested for a couple more of them
Students where?
at the university he was teaching at in Berlin. I believe.
Yeah, so he was teaching massage students. He was teaching massage therapy. He developed this tool. He shared it with his students. And what was the feedback?
They loved it, and that they asked for more copies of it.
Yeah, so he found a need for this product. Massage is difficult on your hands after hours and hours of massage, and it can relate to carpal tunnel. Came up with this product, shared it with some people at the school, and then got some positive feedback from that. Yes.
What
Isn't
does
that-
this tell us? Sorry. What does this tell us? Like the feedback he got from the consumer. What was his mindset when he got this positive feedback from his students?
He was excited about it, but he knew that he didn't have the money to. He wasn't sure if he had the right amount of money to request for the patent.
So I think he kind of started to realize an opportunity, a business opportunity behind it. It's not just me invented this device. Originally he dreamed with the device. So it's kind of, he had this dream like, okay, I can use this. And of course, he was feeling the strain in his muscles and his hand. And it was a solution, as you mentioned before. But kind of when you share your idea with some people, some potential customers, and then you get positive feedback, it might signal that there might be a need in the market. So the idea is gradually changing into an opportunity. There might be an opportunity behind this idea.
And isn't that amazing? I mean, the moment in which you have an idea and then you develop it and people start thinking, hey, this is awesome. I can use it. This is a solution to my problem. This can make my life better, right? So you have an excellent concept, and then you went to this wooden dollar, so you realize a little bit of a prototype, and then you test and you get awesome feedback. So it's done. You're there. You got it. So but what are the next steps now? So what we want to work with you a little bit on is, can we turn this into a business? Can we make it so this solution gets in the hand of as many massage therapists or as many end users as we think of?
Yeah.
It would be awesome to have every single one to have one of these tools.
Yeah. So we're going to put you in the position of being consultants to Mark Juarez. Okay. So think about that from the mindset of, you are working with Mark Juarez. You want to consult and tell him, help him figure out what to do next, right? So he's got this product idea. He doesn't have a lot of money. He wants to, he's passionate about it, but what does he do? How can he turn this product into a business concept? So think about it from the lens of, you are consulting him, trying to give him advice, and let's work through the key questions that you might ask and the critical issues there. Yeah.
Okay, so I think from this point, for the next 15 to 20 minutes, we kind of try to expedite the conversation, the discussion. We are now consulting the founder, and it's kind of guiding him through the transition from an idea to a business. So it's a long journey, and it's not a linear path. There are so many dependencies, so many choices to make, and depending on your choices, they will influence your next available choices for later stages in the journey, and you need to be critical on what choices you are making early enough, because you will live with them for a long time. So just bear with me. You are in the mindset of the business consultant for the founder. I would like to ask you some questions, and I also want you to get me some questions, which are like the critical questions the founder or the entrepreneur should ask himself or herself once he or she has an idea and he think that there is some kind of positive opportunity. Yes, please.
First question, how are you going to manufacture it?
Okay, so manufacturing is an important question, and it's related to the business model we will have. So is it necessarily manufacturing, or there might be other alternatives, so he might not need to manufacture it himself?
Well, even if he's not manufacturing himself, how is he going to get that process? How is he going to get somebody else to manufacture it?
Okay, so what would be the alternatives for manufacturing?
I just put it as making, going to China or something.
Yeah.
So the first thing you should consider when you have an idea and you think there is a market opportunity or there is a potential for this idea, what would be the next thing that come to your mind? And we will come to manufacturing.
Kyle?
I was going to say how much would it cost me to make one and what materials would I want to use?
Yeah.
This is important, but what's before that?
Who am I going to sell to?
Before that? Protecting the idea. It's like, if it's valuable, it needs protection, because if you go to the market without protection, it will be available for everyone. No, it's like there is a worst scenario, like someone else will patent it and then they can prevent you from using it. So it's kind of, once you perceive some value in the idea, you need to look for ways to protect the idea. Please. What was that? Okay, so once let's say you are done with the protection, it's like patentable, you worked on some protection, intellectual property rights protection, this is the terminology we use. Who are the targets, who are we selling to? Who are the customers here? Okay, this is a question. So this is an important question because we have several alternatives to in the case in hand, to the customer. So who could be the target customers here?
So massage therapists, I would tell you probably them first, and then just customers, like end users.
Okay, so it could be the massage centers themselves. So it's a business to business. This is the terminology we use. It's like business to business marketing, and like my customer as a founder or as an entrepreneur is the massage center itself. Or it could be the individual professional masseurs or masseuses. So this is a business to consumer or B2C business. Or it could be the general consumer, the end user for home use. So it could be a Christmas gift for someone.
How would you discover who's your customer in this case? Because it seems from the case, it seems pretty clear, okay? Because he had a problem, so he's trying to find a solution for himself first, right? So how would you discover who to target here? And of course, keep in your mind that this is, the 90s, so it's not today. And yeah.
Like with him, it's clear, but with other cases, you can do surveys.
Okay. So how would you organize a survey?
So like, for example, when they started putting a desalination plant in California, they simply got in touch with the district and they were able to distribute mail surveys, and you only get about like a 10 to 20% response on that. But that's still significant enough if you send them out in mass to start getting some trends going. Now, like in his case, because of what he's doing, he could probably send out surveys to specific massage therapy schools or specific like massage therapy institutions that have a wide breadth, and because they're probably going to be interested in R&D for their field, because that's how the business world is and it's competitive. I would be surprised if they weren't cooperative with that.
Okay. would that have an impact on other items we discussed? So how would you organize the survey? How would you, set it up?
The most important thing to establish is if people want it, and then if
Mhm.
people want it, how much are they willing to pay for it?
Okay.
After that, the rest of it's kind of like pick your poison, but those are probably the first two initial ones you should really focus on.
Okay. So do we all agree that we want to organize a survey? Can be a possibility.
Me personally, I take this to like how he did it
Mhm.
to the students.
Okay.
And then from there, the students would use it on their customers,
Mhm.
see how their customers like it, and then the customer itself might buy it from them
Mhm.
to use it at home just for themselves because maybe you can have your wife or maybe you can have somebody else do it on you while you're at home. You don't have to actually go to a actual masseuse to get it done. So
Okay.
I probably did it exactly how he started it. You know what I'm saying? First kind of showing it off, trying to see who all likes it, if there's a demand for it.
So this is interesting. So what Amrit is saying is that, so you could give it to the massage therapist, so then the user, the end user, can probably, like by seeing how the device works, then maybe they want to buy it. So what that suggests is that by probably targeting business-to-business customers, the model, using the business-to-business model and targeting business customers, then we can get to the final customers. So probably there's another strategy that we can use, and that's probably leveraging the massage centers and massage therapists to then reach the customers, right, in a snowball kind of process, right? So the two options that appear here is survey and then kind of a focus group with a limited set of people that would use that. Yeah.
Why don't we combine both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Just get the sample to just target some of the therapy centers, send them at least one sample, and then use them as an example. Why they like it, use them as an example. I don't know, if you want to target the B2C, then we can just put some kind of commercial on the TV
Mm-hmm.
and have a therapist backing up the product.
So-
now you're targeting the consumers.
What are the advantage and disadvantage of doing this?
The advantage is that you can actually get so many customers.
More revenues. It's like you have two revenue streams instead of one. Okay. What is the disadvantage?
Cost.
Probably the cost.
It's like you are limited in resources in the beginning. So of course, if you have the capacity to target B2C and B2B at the same time, perfect, you can go for it. Usually you are limited in financial resources, in management resources. Each targeting have some dependencies, as we mentioned before. So like talking with companies, your marketing will be different from talking to consumers in every aspect. So if you have budget to do both of them, yes, of course, you should go for this choice. If not, I would prefer to do it in series. So check both of them and see which one will have higher returns early enough, and then use the outcomes or the returns you are getting to finance the other choice.
Can we?
My
Oh, go ahead.
apologies. I tried to say that in series. So if we
In
can-
series, yeah, I totally agree with you on series,
and
yeah.
then once they like it,
Yes,
and working with them, then they can
perfect,
have it.
yeah, I totally agree with
Can
you.
we come back to this? So we're talking about how we would sell it to people, but can we talk about how we would sell it? What's the value proposition? Let's go back to maybe the core of what the product is and how, like, why people would want it.
Simply,
What's special about
the
it?
reason people would like to buy this product. So what is the value proposition? What's in it for the customer? Yes.
To relieve the pain of tunnel syndrome or any other hands and forearm pains that they might experience, might not necessarily mean just physical therapists, but there's a large market out there, people that finding out that they have this syndrome and they don't know what it is. So I think another consumer would be like hospitals, because when people don't know what they have, they try and find somebody, usually a hospital, where they get answers from what they're experiencing.
So this is a device or an equipment that is meant to reduce the strain on the hands or muscles of the professional massage. Okay, so is this a strong enough value proposition? Will people be willing to pay money to solve this problem?
What if I don't have pain? Would I still want to use the product?
Probably stress.
It's an alternative to medication.
So the questions I have just asked, there is no solid answer for them unless we go to the customers, potential customers, and ask them. So it's kind of, there is no out-of-the-book answer, so this is what we do in this case. The best way is to go back to surveys and say, okay, is this a problem you are suffering from? Yes. Is this something you are willing to pay money for to solve? Yes. How much are you willing to pay? So up to $50, up to $20, up to $100, whatever. And these questions will help us kind of guide our some of the next decisions in our case. So
Yeah,
you have questions?
It's a want for some customers.
Sorry?
I do believe it's a want for some customers.
Mm-hmm.
But if the massage center try it, it may be a need for some of them.
Mhm.
So I do believe we need to target the product will be more valuable for the massage centers, not for the customer.
Yeah, this is a hypothesis, and this is a valid hypothesis, but we need to test it through going to real centers and ask them. So it's kind of, it's very dangerous sometimes to rely on the entrepreneur or the founder. There might be some biases, and the best way and the simplest way is like go ask the customers. So
Kyle, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say I don't think you would need to target towards massage therapists because they're gonna be the ones that do know about it. So the marketing towards them would be, I think, a waste of money. I think you should market it more towards the common public because it's a tool that anyone can use. You can basically turn anyone in your household into a masseuse.
Okay, so that's the value proposition for someone in an everyday house. You can have a professional grade massage at home. Okay?
Yep.
I feel like though that's like
Can you-
we're assuming that because like it never in the packet or anywhere ever said that it gives a better massage. It just says it allows a surface of pressure points that just doesn't cause strain on the hands of the user. And like a consumer can still learn how to massage via like a video or a book or whatever. And this device isn't gonna make them a massager. I can see with the marketing why you do that, but there's a lot of products that exist that do that and aren't successful because people can see through that bull crap
I mean,
within a couple of years.
what we know, it is a successful product. You
Yeah.
see it in every convenience
Uh,
store nowadays. Target.
actually, I like the points you brought to discussion, and I like the comment. The point here is it depends on the positioning. So the original value was it's to reduce strain on the hands and like. So if you are working for 10 hours, this may allow you to work for 12 hours. If you work for 6 hours, this may allow you to work for like 8 hours.
Yep.
And one minute.
Oh.
So the point here is we need to make sure that we position the device the right way. It might not meant originally for the home consumer, but if you position it this way, it might be a nice gift because it's kind of you socially construct the reality about the product. It's kind of you sell it in a certain way, and if it's like $20 or $30 a piece, still some people might like to have it as a gift or send it as a gift to a friend or something. So
Okay, what were you going to say?
From watching like a video, like you still can learn by your hands. However, this is like trying to solve the problem, like hitting the pressure points. So easily you can mess up somebody's pressure point with your fingers. So that's why has a value for people at home, so they can hit the right pressure points instead of messing somebody up or themselves up.
Great, okay.
You had a question.
How I'm seeing it is he's a masseuse, so he knows the problems in the industry. So I wouldn't even need a survey. How I see it, if I'm a masseuse and it's hurting me, it's got to be hurting somebody else. I can't be the first person. So I see it. So I'm gonna give it to them, like I said earlier, and then I'm gonna target towards the people at home because the people at home might not have money to go and get $100 massage, $150 massage, and then having those is gonna really get that deep tissue because somebody that doesn't know how to use their hands can't get that deep.
Yeah.
Can't get those pressure points, like she's saying. So that can actually get into the pressure points, sell for $20, $30, and it could be in almost every home at that
Yeah.
point. Just because everyone getting the older you get, sports, even if you play sports or not, your back's gonna hurt, your muscles are gonna ache, everything's gonna ache. You're
Yeah.
gonna want those.
So, but to give Mark Juarez a suggestion, because ultimately we are consulting the guy, can we use a tool because I think all of your comments are valuable, but at some point Mark Juarez has to target some market first, right? And so can we draw just and measure the impact. So how is this product going to impact customers, end customers, and masseurs? So if you had to, so this is impact. And if you had to, in a way, rank or position end customers or masseurs, how does or where does the product make the most impact? Okay, and how would you place the masseuse? Where?
Probably towards the top.
Here?
Yeah. It's more of just of a commodity to end users. It's not something that they need. They're not going to be using it every day.
Okay, can I reframe that question a little bit?
Sure.
How much would you pay as a masseuse to get this product if you're working for 8 hours per day?
It's a lot.
Give me a number.
If I was in the suit.
Wait. Can you write it down on a piece of paper? Like each of you. I don't want to get just one answer. I want to get all of your answers. How much would you pay as a masseuse and as a final customer? End customer, like end users, you would like doing a massage to grandpa or grandma. Two price tags. One for a masseuse and one for end customers.
And then how much am I charging my services for?
How much would you be willing to pay if you were a masseuse or?
It would be in relation to how much money I make, is what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
so
get
just gonna have to get a ballpark. Just imagine,
Yeah.
Alright.
yeah, going rate.
So if you're working for 8 hours per day, and if you're doing massage for 8 hours per day, and if you're an end customer, yeah.
Well, is a masseuse an individual?
Mhm.
Or is it like a whole?
As an individual masseuse, so you're working. Yes, you're working doing massage for 8 hours per day. You're feeling pain in your hands because it's a lot of work, and you want to probably improve your work. So we said the customer is you. No, I'll just so
Get the ranges.
yeah. Are you all done? So just someone.
$50 or more.
So go start
Yeah.
with masseuse. If you
So
were the
how much would you
masseuse-
pay as a masseuse?
100 to 200.
120.
100 to 200, depending on the quality.
Okay, so 100 to 200.
Yeah, that all depends on the quality.
Okay. Anyone in this price range, 100 to 200? So how many? Can you raise your hands? How much is that? 7, 8? Okay.
Any higher ranges?
Any higher?
Prices?
Would someone pay more?
I would I'd put it infinite. If I was a sewer.
Infinite.
Obviously, I wouldn't, but they're not going to price it like outrageously high. But I would pay $100, $200, $300
Okay.
if I really-
Okay. So I would say more than 100, right? So how many of you would pay more than $100? Yeah. Yeah, as a masseuse. Okay, we got 10 probably.
Majority.
How many of you would pay? Sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So are we still doing like the wood prototype, or we
Yes,
like
it's wood.
Okay.
But it's
So
the
I
product.
Pay like $100 for wood.
That's what you're determining. Like, what do you think the value is? That's what we're asking.
Yep.
And this is from
It's
back
like
then,
$10.
right?
Yep.
This is back then, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
if it-
yeah.
I can just go chop down my tree and then make it.
So what do you
can
think
have
the
this
value?
discussion.
What do you think as a masseuse? What's the value to you?
Like $10.
Okay.
Okay. How many
We're
of you
just
would,
getting a
would pay less than $50, let's say?
As a customer.
As a
As a-
masseuse.
As a professional
As a
masseuse.
Okay, less than 50, it's 5 people.
I'm asking questions about quality. Someone break.
And how many of you
Fine.
would pay from $50 to $100? Okay, 3 people. What about as a customer? How much would you be willing to pay? 20 to 50. Who would be willing to pay between 20 to 50? Good, it's like 10 people. How many of you would pay less than 20? Yeah, of course, but how many would price it less than 10, 20? Okay, so again, probably 8. How many of you would buy this tool if it was more than $50? 1? Okay, so in a way, I mean, the way you price the product is telling something. So the impact in a way corresponds to how much people are willing to pay, right, and to the pain. So this is one dimension. And we probably can start to give suggestions to Mark Juarez based on this, right?
Yeah.
But what are we selling ultimately? So Alexis said, hey, we're selling a wooden block, right? What does that? Yeah.
We're selling a solution.
We're selling a solution, but ultimately Alexis is saying, hey, this is a wooden block. What this suggests us? Sorry?
That's why you have to get the patent, so you can have it's not just a piece of wood anymore, it's a massaging tool.
Right. So, well, if others can make it, and it's very easy to make it, right, in a different shape, and so if you don't protect your idea, then this is just an awesome idea that cannot be turned into a product. Yeah.
I feel at the same time, though, we shouldn't overvalue the patent because only about 3 to 10% of patents actually get licensed and used. So patents get put out all the time. That doesn't mean it's a good idea. So you can't put the horse before the buggy.
It's a great way of thinking, but I would reframe it. So, because what you're bringing here to the table is what if we cannot defend the patent?
Yeah,
because it's about defending the patent. And does Mark Juarez have the resources to do that? So there's a potential issue there, right? So anyone can make it, which means that, well, as a consumer, I can make it, right? It's going to be hard, but I could make it. Or as a company, a competitor, I could make it. And if I cannot defend the idea, it's never going to become a product. Yeah.
But even still, if it's say he did get the patent and he made it over $100, even over $50 for masseuse to buy, if you're a masseuse, you can't use this tool for the entirety of the massages anyway, and then you're going to be well, I'm going to have to use my hands anyway. Why I'm going to spend $100 on this wooden ball when I'm just going to be using it 10% of the time.
Yeah, so still masseuses are going to use their hands anyway, right? So this is an improvement. It's kind of a solution, but this is a solution for masseuses who are working 8 hours per day, but probably they can use it for 4 hours. And
well, it is a solution, but it's just how much is a masseuse willing to pay for that solution if they're going to have to be using their hands
right.
anyway?
Yep.
So I doubt that his students or whatever, because when their students are going to pay $100 something, because I already complained about buying a book for $120.
Right.
You know
And
what I'm saying?
yep.
And it's wood, not wood gates, the plastic and the vibrate and all that stuff. So.
Yep. So how are masseuses going to pay? Because it's pretty expensive as a tool, right?
$100 to use that will benefit not only yourself but your customers. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah. So one question regarding the pricing. What is the point behind all of the analysis we have just made and the price points, price ranges as a consumer or as a professional masseuse? The point here is your pricing decision. There are some several criteria, several factors you consider when you decide a price. So we have a concept called high volume, low return or low return.
Low margin.
Low margin, yes. So if you expect high volume from your pricing, like you are selling to large market, to consumers, you don't expect to price it at $200 or $150. You don't expect high profit margin from your pricing. So the volume is kind of go in the opposite direction with the profit margin. If you are selling to professional massage centers or you professional masseuse, you can charge more. So people might be more willing to pay $150 or $200, some of them. One other thing to consider here is the pricing model itself. So I think Alexis said, I can do this using $10. I'm not willing to pay. And this is kind of cost plus mentality. So how much does it cost to make a similar product? Like chop my tree, do some carving, and I will have a similar product. So yes, it might cost $10 to do similar product. The point here, sometimes we don't price our products based on their cost. Like iPhone, how much an iPhone cost to produce? I don't think it's close to $1,000. It might be 150, 200, 300, but it's priced based on its value. How much do we think the customer is willing to pay for this product? And if you position this as like a gift, a fancy solution to your strain or something like that, you might get the consumer to pay something more than the cost. So you are pricing based on the value rather than the cost.
The main reason I feel like buying that thing is because it's made by a masseuse.
Okay, so
like,
you think it's a professional, it's designed in a right way?
Being a
Yes.
masseuse, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna know how to make that because those legs are in specific places for a specific reason. That ball or the circle or whatever you want to call it is a certain diameter
Yeah.
for a certain reason. Maybe I don't know, but I'm just saying, you know, being a masseuse, you know those things. Not being a masseuse, you don't.
Yes,
So how
that's
can I
right.
make a product
And
that's gonna work?
if you are the entrepreneur doing this product, you might leverage this concept.
Yeah, you have that knowledge.
It's kind of, there is science behind this. It's not just like a piece of wood designed in like 4 balls or 5 balls and then it has some pressure. There is science behind this. It's made and tested by professionals. So there is reason you pay for this product. Yes.
Is this the case of Mark Juarez, though? How many years of experience does he have in that
He
business?
still has more than me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So that's how I see it. Like, I'd rather buy it from him than someone that just made it. It's not even a masseuse at all.
Sure.
And at that point, way back then, I mean, there probably wasn't that many products, you know, like this at that point.
So you can market it as, you know, this is developed by a masseuse
By
to
a
solve a
masseuse,
problem.
It's
Yeah,
the
and
same
so
way that you see those toothbrushes. Oh, this one, 10 out of 20, you know, dentists approve this toothbrush or toothpaste. You know, so you're more likely to go and buy it compared to someone that doesn't know nothing about massage.
So
So, Nick, do you want to tell us about what happens in the case in the end?
okay, I
Give us
just
the
want to
update.
have.
Sorry.
I want to
almost
answer
time.
the question that Alexis, right?
Sure.
The as a massage therapist and as an owner, well, I'm not, but I'm just saying in the idea, right? Do I want to sit down and try to perfect a product that I could make it, you know, for $10, or should I concentrate on getting the customers and make more money? I can get that money like a lot faster than sitting there and perfect it. That as a therapist, as a customer, do I really want to sit there and so many products out there that do I want to try to duplicate that copy every time? Just if I like this, I'll go there. If I like this, do I want to copy it? And how much time am I going to spend to duplicate it to make it as perfect as the other one? So you gotta choose whether you're gonna spend your time, which is a lot valuable, than the money.
Yeah, so, but both points are valid. And I just want to quickly go to the point in which we give a suggestion to Mark Juarez. First of all, how much would the wood cost for making this product? Nothing, right? It's 4 pieces of wood carved from a wood dollar, so very cheap. And how much money can he make out of it? Well, if he targets consumers, he can sell to a lot of people, but for a lower margin, of course, because consumers, as we said, are willing to pay less. If he targets massage centers or massage therapists, then he can charge more. Of course, the market would be small, but he can apply multiple different strategies to collecting revenues, such as, you know, advertising the product through massage centers. But what would you do? What would you suggest to Mark Juarez? Should he pursue this idea as a business? Would you do that? Okay. So who wouldn't do that? Who wouldn't do that? I mean, I'm asking. Who wouldn't pursue this as a business? All of you would. It's an interesting product. It solves a problem. Well, still, we are uncertain about a lot of things, such as whether our product is unique. So still, we have to do a lot on patent research. What if someone invented this tool already? Is this the case? So 18 years later, Mark Juarez has a successful kind of company based on these products. where would you locate this company? Would you put it next to Facebook? Or next to which company would you refer Mark Juarez? So this is Facebook, okay, or Google, you know, the unicorns. So how much money could you make with this company? How much could you grow your business? Where is Mark Juarez? Can you give me a comparison
I'll put it somewhere in the middle, probably. Yeah.
between Facebook and what?
Whatever the lowest bottom.
And zero.
What would be the lowest here? Okay, just a small shop. So where is Mark Juarez?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Where can you buy Mark Juarez products? Or where would you buy them? Like really Walmart, really small shops. And so you can find a customer alternative for that very easily. Can you find one of those products nowadays? I mean, if you want to buy it, can you search for it? How much are they priced? Yep. $7. How many of those products are from Mark Juarez's company, which is called the Happy Company? So there are plenty of alternatives out there. And apparently a company founded 10 years before Mark Juarez had this idea already developed the product. And it's still active right now. And Mark Juarez's company was very successful at some point because it was able to grow fast. But of course, there are many competitors out there. And so it's really hard to consult on this case, but I just want you to take a moment and to think about what would happen today as a Mark Juarez. What kind of resources you would have now that were not available at that time. So if you think about patent search, yeah, nowadays you have Google Patent. You can search for information, and in 5 minutes, you would get, if there's something out there already. What about, the customers and marketing?
Customer reviews on Amazon for like similar products.
Yes, and how would you get your end users or your customers, whether they are, end users or massage therapists? You can use Facebook to target consumers, but you can also search for spas and massage centers. And how would you develop the product?
How would you manufacture it?
Yeah, you can manufacture that in China. As Brigitte suggested, you can prototype with 3D printing. But one thing that wouldn't change is still, the core issue. Would we want to pursue this as a business? Is this a business or just an idea? And the steps that we need to take to convert that into a business.
It's up to you.
It's up to you. And one nice thing about the Happy Company's website is that it says in the logo, all is possible. And the company talks about the possibility of developing a product based on an idea. And so the nice thing here is that whatever the idea would be, nowadays you have all sorts of tools to develop that. But at some point, the core issue here is this going to be a product? Is this going to be a company? Do I have a company here?
And it turns out that Mark Juarez turned it into a company. So you can Google the Happy Company and learn a little bit more about them in the end. So that is all the time we have for you today. So thank you so much for your attention and your time on Saturday morning.